All right, it is 7 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m., Tuesday, March 5th, 2019, 12 below zero outside, and Shane Tallman joins me from Vancouver, British Columbia, half man, half amazing, and of course, Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor, in the house, and hey, we've got a real recording actually going, so I'm excited about that, so, yeah, so. There you are.
Huge weather report.
We have a huge weather report. The best news of the week is we're not going to get any more of this below zero overnight lows.
Lucky you.
This is the last night. We're looking for a high of 21 degrees today with an overnight low of 9 above, Shane. 9 above. I mean, that's almost a heat wave in even by metric standards.
Exactly.
And there's no snow in the forecast until Friday at least. So, but anyway, 21 will be the high tonight, overnight low of 9 degrees, 20 tomorrow, and an overnight low of 8. And then it warms up considerably, 36 on Thursday, and partly cloudy, overnight low of 18. And then the snow moves in 3 to 5 inches expected on Friday. 26 degrees will be the high, 13 the overnight low. And then the rest of the week, it's sunny and nice. Saturday high of 26, 30, 26, or Sunday 26, Monday 28, and Tuesday 30 degrees will be the highs, and no lows below zero. All of them are in the teens. So we're getting kind of back to normal March weather, I guess.
That's amazing.
Yeah, if you can call it that. Livingston is 11 degrees below zero. Manhattan is 24 below. Three Forks is 27 below. Gallup Gateway is 12 below. Ennis is 13 below. Gardner 13 below also. And at the airport in Belgrade, it is 21 below zero. We're right at 12 below here at our studios in downtown Bozeman. So that's that's it, and I'm glad to see this cold go away. I mean, it was only 26 below coming in this morning in my van, but yeah, I go out and I warm that bad boy up before I come in here,
I mean,
yeah, I'm sure the neighbors love the van running there and at 4:30 in the morning.
Yes, they're texting Cortez and saying you shouldn't be allowed to do this.
I shouldn't be allowed to do that. Yeah, so I don't know, but hopefully I don't wake them up. Maybe they're on the other end of the house.
There you go.
Yeah, that's probably it. So, well, the wife is up. She's on Facebook, so that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, she's up early, 6 o'clock. All right, not listening to us, of course. She's goofing off on Facebook, watching reruns of CSI.
I hate to disappoint you, Tom, but she listens to you all the time.
Well, she listens to me all day, so she gets 3 hours off in the morning.
Exactly.
Well,
it's a holiday.
Yeah, on this day in history, those wacky British are at it again, Shane.
Of course they were.
1770, the Boston Massacre took place as British soldiers, taunted by a crowd of colonists, opened fire, killing 5 people. They just have no sense of humor.
No, none. And it's relevant to today. This was in the tabloids in England was called the incident on King Street.
Mm-hmm.
And the remarkable thing was it was the result of what were called the Townshend Acts that had been passed in Parliament. Now, remember, this is 1760.
Yeah. So
not another 16 years, for your Declaration of Independence, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And the British were forcing this is important. The British were forcing people in the city of Boston to house the soldiers, the foot soldiers.
That was the Third Amendment, something like that.
That's right, buddy. There you go. And the other reason it's important is the Townshend Acts were passed by Parliament, which placed, guess what, on certain products from England?
Tariffs and taxes.
There you go, buddy. That's how relevant it is today. So we just can't skip over this one. We got to talk about it. Okay, next.
Yes, we do. Oh, gosh. Well, in 1867, an abortive Fenian uprising against England rule took place in Ireland. So we all remember that, of course.
famous Broadway musical, Finian's Rainbow.
Yeah.
About the leprechauns of England, the leprechauns of Ireland helping the Irish
fight the English. Well, boy, you don't get this info at other stations, do you?
No,
I don't think so. 1933, the Nazi Party won 44% of the vote in German parliamentary elections, enabling it to join with the Nationalists to gain a slender majority in the Reichstag. So
which led, it was a 14-year political process, and then it of course, because of it was a minority government, which Hitler became head of and the Chancellor of Germany. And then, of course, a couple of years, within a year, he overtook the whole establishment and said, well, now I'm just dictator.
Yeah. Yeah, and, you got to give him credit, man. He took a bankrupt nation.
That's right.
Within 4 years to almost world dominance.
That's right.
Yeah, he's a pretty amazing guy. Like him or not, he got the job done.
Inflation was like Venezuela, literally.
Oh yeah, yeah. They were in bad shape. Well, they had to go after everybody's oil, everybody's natural resources, everything. So they just started marching through Europe, and
that's right.
Yeah.
So. And that's why they principally went into Poland after the coal, because they'd learned how to gasify coal. Yeah. To turn it into gasoline. Mm-hmm. And that's why they went into Poland, was for the coal.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. 1953, Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin died at the age of 73 after nearly 3 decades in power, but he did make the trains run on time.
Him and Mussolini. That's that's the only thing they had in common.
Yeah. See, when I stop, you talk.
That's right.
Okay. I mean, you can see me. You can see me, right?
Yeah. Well, I can't read lips, though.
Well, think of me as a politician. If my lips are moving, I'm doing something.
You are talking.
I'm talking. Yeah. Right. So, okay. We can't have dead air on this channel. Come on.
No, that's true. Yeah, we got to move. All
right. There you go. 1963 on this date, country music singer Patsy Cline died in a plane crash near Camden, Tennessee at the age of 30. What a loss that was. What a talent Patsy Cline was.
It's amazing. It's amazing, too, because, the number of people at the end of the 50s, beginning of the 60s that did die in planes.
Oh, yeah.
Crashes.
Well, yeah, Buddy Holly and all that group, certainly. And, that's how they got from town to town. They did these little, these little runs from this little town to that little town. They didn't play big cities. They, went to these little venues, fairs and all that kind of stuff, and that's where they performed, so.
Well, I guess if you're flying in an airplane, run by a rubber band, it's like
that was the other thing, weather, no instruments back then. Well, they probably had some, but not like they do today, obviously. So
yeah, the ones they were taking to their next gig.
Yeah, right. 1970, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty went into effect, and of course, we've talked about this because North Korea is not a member. Russia is. So
that's right.
Why not have China or North Korea do your testing for you?
And at the time, the British, the French, and the Americans signed it. Mm-hmm. The Indians wouldn't, and the Russians and Chinese wouldn't. It wasn't until Nixon he got everybody on board.
Yep, there you go. Finally got it, but still no North Korea. But I think China's pretty smart. We'll just let Kim fire off all our stuff and test it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly
Can
right.
we reach Guam, Kim, do you think?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We want to find out.
That's right. 1982, comedian John Belushi was found dead of a drug overdose at 33 on this date. That was a sad loss of a good comedian. Unfortunately, a lot of folks around that time and related to Saturday Night Live were in drug trouble. So
yeah, like Jimi Hendrix and
well, you have that 27 group. A bunch of them died at 27. James Dean, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, the guy from The Doors, Jim Morrison, all at 27. Man, I don't know. It seems like they get fame, and then around 27, boom, you're done.
Now, did you know Jimi Hendrix was raised here in Vancouver by his grandma?
I did not know that.
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix fans come from all over the world to see the house his grandma raised him in.
Yeah. Well, in this date in 1946, Winston Churchill delivered his famous Iron Curtain speech at Westminster College in Fulton, Missouri.
Which is sort of interesting because he's the one who created the entire problem, and so then he made the big speech about what he had created, and yeah, it's sort of sad in one way.
Yeah.
People didn't know at the time that he had negotiated the Iron Curtain with Joseph Stalin.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was one of those speeches that people. It's sort of like Eisenhower's speech, right at the end of his presidency, about the military industrial complex warning.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was the one.
Yes, sir.
Well, in 2001, famous Hunter Vice President Dick Cheney underwent an angioplasty for a partially blocked artery. I don't know if that was before or after he shot his lawyer, but
well,
not sure. But
that's right. That's right. Well, the problem was he had to get this done because no one would give him a heart.
Yeah, there you go. 2004, Martha Stewart was convicted of obstructing justice and lied to the government about why she'd unloaded her M-Clone Systems Inc. stock just before the price plummeted.
Well, an amazing thing, it was an insider trade, but she didn't go to prison for that. Remember what she went to prison for?
Lying.
She lied to the investigators of the SEC.
Yep.
Wow.
That's why.
2 years. 2 years.
Yep. Do you know what Martha Stewart and I have in common?
You're both good looking.
Well, I don't know about that, but
I'm watching your lips move.
You can see me, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Well, when I published my third book in 2009,
all right,
my book debuted just in front of hers on Amazon. I was number 5; she was number 6. Bestsellers, yes.
Very
so there
good.
You are.
Boy, I tell you, I mean, you just.
I'm always tied to Martha Stewart.
I mean, and I was going to say 8 fingers and 2 thumbs, but boy, that's 2 thumbs up, baby. You're way ahead of the game.
Rex Harrison was born on this date, famous English stage and film actor, born on the 5th of March in 1908, died in 1990, and I don't see anybody else in there that.
Well, the thing about this guy here is that he was famous for Rodgers and Hammerstein's My Fair Lady.
Yes.
And there was another actor, Yul Brynner, that also was famous because of another Roger Hammerstein's musical, The King and I. And both these guys constantly, both in London and New York, battled back and forth for the number of times they did their plays.
Yep.
And Yul Brynner won.
Yep. All right. We got to take care of the farmers, ranchers, truckers, cab drivers, anybody else out there that brings food or clothing or booze to you.
Light bulb.
Right. We got the Montana News and Agriculture, and we got the Headwaters Livestock Report, all of that ahead. And here we go. 25 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m., it is Tuesday, March 5th, 2019, 11 below outside still, so we're looking for a high of 21 today. Whether or not we're going to make that chain, I don't know.
Are you going to see the rising sun?
Well, I hope so. I can't see it yet, but it's going to rise any minute now, but... All right.
On time, I bet.
I hope so. Let's take some phone calls. What do you say? Hey, it's early in the morning. We got listeners up and walking around, so let's take a phone call. Caller, you're on the morning soapbox. What's going on?
Good morning, Tom. It's your buddy Denver.
Hey, how you doing, Denver?
Hey, not bad. Hey, I got some news for everybody.
Yeah?
The global warming stuff that we've been working on for the last 25 years, they finally got caught up.
All right.
We got a grant going in for $350 million for 4 plants that can put all the carbon on the ground.
Well, you're the man.
Makes earthquake-proof homes and generates clean power. Let's stop playing with government that doesn't know how to pull their hand out their ass.
Okay.
Let's put our country back to work and save us all.
I like it. I like it. Keep us up to speed on what's going on with that.
Well, NASA put me under new science for scrubbing the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
That's a good deal.
I already did unsolicited proposal to them, everything else, and then put me under new science.
All right. Well, keep me in your will.
I will.
So tell us about the space station studies they're doing about the atmosphere.
The atmosphere right now, we're at 411 parts per million. Okay, when I started this in 1994, we were at 247. Okay, planes, trains, and automobiles all produce the same thing, CO2 emissions. Now, when you look at history, history's repeating itself. Our CO2s are so high right now that we could be the next fossil fuel. Dinosaurs died with food in their mouths. The CO2 levels were so high from all the volcanoes erupting. Okay, let's look at the...
And that nasty asteroid.
Yeah, well, it's all there, buddy. It's all right in front of you. It's all right in front of you. Look what's going on today. We got volcanoes blowing up and erupting, putting more CO2 in our atmosphere, planes, trains, and automobiles causing it all. It's about time.
Yeah, that last explosion in Indonesia put more CO2 in the atmosphere than cars have produced in 10 years.
That's right, because Mother Nature's fighting back.
Yeah.
We aren't the only entity on this planet.
Well, I don't know if Mother Nature's fighting back. I think she's evolving.
Well, she's evolving, fighting back. You look at the struggle of life versus death. It happens every day. Okay? Something's got to die for something to move forward. Well, if we don't hurry up and get on top of this with awesome recycling, these people are going to be the next fossil fuel. That's just the way it is.
There's also been 5 extinction events that science have proven, and 99.999% of everything that ever 5 times before. So
that's right.
Nothing new here, just time.
Yep. It's all just part of the history repeating itself.
There you go. Got to go. Hey, thanks for the call, Denver. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. All right, take care. All right. We'll be back right after the news at the bottom of the hour. I think we have Montana State news today. We haven't had it for yesterday. I don't think we had it at all, so we've got it today. And we got Montana State news, Fox News, and Brooke Foster weather, and also some of our great sponsors. So stay tuned for all of that, and Shane and I will be back after the news. 24 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Tuesday, March 5th, 2019. 10 degrees below zero out there. Coming up a little bit, Shane. Want to welcome you to the KMMS Morning Soapbox. Another Noxatril-free hour this morning. So we're pretty excited about that. So, but you will be subjected to babble, of course.
Of course.
But otherwise, pretty good deal going on. If you want to be a part of the big broadcast, 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Or you can text us at 478-8298. 478-8298 is our text number, and we'll be happy to entertain you over there. So we got 3 pending bills that the county doesn't like very much, Shane.
Not much. Yeah, I know. Look at that.
Well, we got some tax changes. It's Bill 253, which would revise the tax lien and tax deed process and might stick the county with owning property. They don't want that.
They can build some houses on them.
Well, yeah. Well, I think they already have houses on them, but when a homeowner fails to pay property taxes, the county issues a lien on the property, and then private investors can then buy the lien, paying the taxes owed in return for the right to collect the taxes plus 10% interest from the homeowner. And if the homeowner doesn't pay the investor within 3 years, property ownership is transferred to the investor. So the bill would require investors to bid for the interest rate and would require the county to award the tax lien to the lowest bidder. So I guess you'd want, 1% interest or something or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
what a deal.
You'd want something the guy could pay, I guess,
yeah, exactly.
if you're going to invest in it. So as a result, it's likely homeowners would pay a lower interest rate on the taxes they owe than they do now. So, so it's kind of a hodgepodge of stuff. She worries lower interest rates would give homeowners less of an incentive to pay the taxes they owe and could reduce investor interest in purchasing tax liens because they would receive a lower return on their investment. And I guess they would.
Well, it sounds like to me a bunch of mini-me Trumps because they're taking advantage of the tax rules.
Well, that's true. They are doing that. Well, commissioners plan to write a letter in support of a bill that would add a 95-cent monthly charge to each phone line in the state to help fund operations, maintenance, and expansion of the system. First responders across Montana use to communicate with each other as they dial 911, and that's funds for public safety. It's House Bill 618, and if it passes, Gallatin County would save about $200,000, $250,000 annually, and wouldn't have to pay for significant equipment upgrades, which could cost up to $1 million. So the costs sound like it's a fix, but I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. If you want to pay another $1 for your phone bill, I guess 95 cents. Well, almost $1.
Almost $1.
Yeah. So the other one, we have a lot of folks here in the valley live in mobile homes, so they're talking about Bill number 204, and they want to eliminate. They would exempt mobile homes from property taxes if they are at least 28 years old and worth less than $10,000. The commission said they worry the reduction in revenue to local governments would adversely affect county services. And they figure there's a loss of about $250,000 a year to local government if the bill becomes law. However, the fiscal note on the bill reports only $84,000 in revenue would be lost each year statewide. So we've got pretty good gap between $84,000 and $250,000 there, Shane.
Yeah, but I don't think it should be reported that way, that they lose $250,000. I think it should be reported that the taxpayers gain
$250,000 that they could spend out in the out in the world and stimulate the economy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would go along with that. Plus, if you got a mobile home that's 28 years old and worth less than $10,000, is the tax really going to amount to that much on a?
No.
Well, I don't know. Maybe mobile homeowners can give us a call and tell us what you're paying in taxes now and see if you're in the ballpark there.
The remarkable thing is that the individual that gets that disposable income probably could make better use of it because they probably need it.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, if you're living in something that's worth less than $10,000, it's worth less than $10,000 for a reason, I would assume.
That's right.
It's in poor repair or whatever. Yeah,
and you can't likely live anywhere else. So I mean, you probably would need the benefit of that money.
Well, I would think so. I don't think that loss would be too much. But again, it all comes down to government never ever talks about reducing anything.
No,
yeah. We've got to keep buying those votes. We got to keep paying people to buy our votes, man. Yeah. You need a vote? Here you go. Here's some money.
Yeah. That's right. And then of course they never look at it and report it the other way, that people are paying for their vote.
Well, that's true. Yeah. So they're providing the services that people demand.
Yeah, that's right. Which they're paying for.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take another quick break. Babble. You want to speak a foreign language? Well, Babble's the answer, man. Right?
I only speak Canadian.
Well, me too. Yeah, I speak Canadian and American is the only. That's why you're here, because
Australian.
We can communicate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Britain.
Yeah.
Scotland.
Irish. I mean,
yeah, right.
Welsh. I mean, we speak all kinds of languages.
We are pretty multilingual here, that's for sure.
Yeah,
all right.
Multi-tongue.
All right. Well, I know you can't wait to hear about Babble, so here you go. At Town Square Media, we spare no expense. 2 Babbles for the price of 1.
There you go.
There you go. Jeez. I didn't notice that at first, but
I didn't either. But it was
back-to-back babbles, and you'll get another one in the next break. So please buy Babble so we can stop these stupid commercials.
Yeah, multiple Babble.
Right. Yeah. Well, of course, that's a Town Square national deal, so there's not much we can do about it. But
yeah.
Oh man, well, at least it's not Noxatril. So
that's right.
I count your blessings. All right.
Exactly. Yeah.
We should be good there. So, well, in other news, Shane, all kinds of things going on here in the Gallatin Valley. Well, the wild weather, we got record snowfalls, and February was epic, record-setting snowfall for the month, and on the Montana State University campus, second oldest February on the books at the airport. The snowfall totaled 29 inches, topped the previous February of 28 set back in 2003. And the February MSU data cover 95 years and goes back as far as 1904, but there are some gaps from 1904 to 1948, and the seasonal total of 83 inches is more than 2 feet above the long-term average, but is far short of the 109 inches we had seen by this time last season. So there you are.
I think you're getting close to being able to measure your snow by yards and not feet.
Well, yeah. Well, last year we didn't get it dumped on us all at once. We got 83 inches, but it snowed, then it stopped, then it snowed, and then it stopped. But here we got about 10 days in a row of at least 1 to 3. It seems like, and the snow is piled up in the front yard. It's halfway. It's almost to the top of my fence around the yard.
Yeah, but we're talking. Don't be fooled, everyone. Tom has one of those little garden fences. It's 8 inches tall.
Yeah, right. It's just it's to keep my pet skunks in.
That's right. Raccoons out, skunks in.
That's right. Well, yeah, that was certainly pretty good. And in another story here, MSU student restarts Black student union. And I realize that we are in Montana and there's not a whole lot of black folks living here. At least
it is a bit cold,
Yeah, at least according to the census. But anyway, we have this student at MSU who she felt somewhat lonely at first as a black student. She said it didn't seem like there were very many people on campus like her. I could name most of the other black students on campus, she said. And it was a little isolating. I felt a little out of place. And I question that, Shane, that does
does she not watch basketball or football there?
Well, isn't that? It's a question of why would you feel out of place just because you're a different color?
Well, I was going to say the same thing. That to me, that doesn't sound very politically correct. The article, right?
Well, because what I'm getting at is that assimilation. If usually if I feel something, it's on me, not on. Now if she felt that, walking down the hall, people would get out of the way of her or call her names or, things like that, I would think this would be a legitimate reason to seek out, a group of folks like you. But this is the whole thing that we've always talked about, the fact that it's probably easier for the Irish to assimilate to America because they're white, or French or British or whatever, Germans. But, I failed to see, I would think wherever I am, I'm going to try to make friends.
Well, when I was there, they didn't have a Canadian student union.
Well, yeah, I was going to say they probably didn't have that many Canadians. Well, maybe they did. I don't know. You being close to the border.
I don't know.
Were there a lot of Canadians? You didn't seek out the other Canadians so that you guys could sit around and smoke your maple leaves?
No, we didn't have a maple leaf back then. It was a Union Jack still.
Oh, it was a Union Jack. That's right. Yeah, it was. Now, I'm not picking on this student. I understand the feeling. But
you carried a Union Jack around on the campus back then. Yeah. People would throw tea bags at you.
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking that, and there's nothing wrong with starting a black student union to organize, a group. But, I don't know if any white kids go to Grambling or not, but would a white student union be racist? I don't know.
I don't know either, but someone at the newspaper figured this was a good story to write about.
Yeah. Well, but I think, if you have a fear of someone, it's because you don't understand them or don't know them or haven't taken the time to get to know them.
That's right.
Because, I went to a segregated college in Texas. So
well, that's
the way it was then. Yeah, that's the way it was at that time.
Yeah.
Now if I went to that same college today, I'd probably be the only white player on the team.
Exactly.
But
yeah,
if I could even make the team.
Speaking of which, it's March Madness. We're into March Madness.
Well, we're going to start here pretty quick next week. So
yeah.
So we're going to do that. Well, I know it's been a while since we've heard babble, but hey, why not hear more about babble and lose weight at the same time? We'll be right back. 6 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Thursday, March 5th, 2019, 11 below zero outside. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane and Tom on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, and Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house, and happy to be here with you. We're talking about just news around the area. And other news, of course, our weather. Bozeman's breaking records for low temperatures. That Shane, we're into. Let's see. The airport Monday low was recorded at -39, breaking the previous March record of 32 below. I think it was 37 on the van coming into work that morning. And that was set back in 1995. The all-time low at the airport is -46. Wow.
So does the Madison or Gallatin freeze over? Or the Yellowstone, do they freeze over?
Oh, yeah. Well, we've had a problem in, I believe, in Ennis, and there are other places where where the river runs slow, it does freeze because the temperatures are so low, and then the river pushes ice chunks down, and they get caught under the bridges, and they act they act as a dam, and then the water flows up over the road, and you end up with the road closures and all of that. And I think Ennis had one of those. If callers are out there, you can correct me if I'm mistaken. I believe it was Ennis, and Logan, I think, was another one. That had that same issue. So
in Toronto, the longest road in North America is Yonge Street, and it starts at Lake Ontario at the base of the city in Toronto and runs all the way north. But the big banking area is right down by the lakeshore on Ontario Lake. Mm-hmm. And this winter, it's been so cold there with all these these cold fronts, these Arctic fronts, that the wind coming across Lake Ontario has pushed the ice right up into the banks. It's like, wow, this is scary.
Yeah. Well, I would see where it would be, but we've always had that problem of the ice chunks coming down and getting caught under bridges and things like that, and it's really tough to free that up. You can't just hop down there in a boat and start chipping away.
Well, yeah, especially during the thaw in the spring, right, where it starts to channel and then.
Well, yeah, that's where we usually have the problem with the flooding and everything. As the ice, as the snow on the mountains start melting and flowing down, then we also have that issue too. That there's still some ice in the rivers and all that water coming in and moving them down and. Yeah, it's a serious issue here. You don't think much about flooding in Montana. It's not so much we flood as much as it is with the ice. Yeah. The ice flows form dams at the bridges, and the water's got to go somewhere.
My, those times of year where you want global warming to be around, right?
Yeah. So, well, Elk Park north of Butte got down to 46 below zero Monday morning.
Wow. That's cold, Tom.
I know it is, yeah.
That's Antarctica cold.
It is. Let's see. Possibly setting a record low for Montana in March. This is in March now. This is not in February. So,
Right.
We're ahead of the game here. So, the state's record low for the month of is minus 45, set in Glasgow in 1897.
Wow.
So that tells you how the climate change worked back then.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I really, it's fascinating, that they have all these temperatures, and that's all because of Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah,
he was the guy that insisted on keeping all these records.
I know, what was he thinking?
The future.
Yeah, I guess.
Back to the future.
Well, the name for the new high school won't go away, Shane.
I know. I tell you, you got to have that committee on the show. Come on, you got to call them up and say
it will simply. Yeah, I've got to get them. I got to get them on here. 5-3, they voted to add 2 more names.
Oh, good.
They want to add. Let's see. What do they want to add? They want to add Gallatin High and Bozeman West High. So. But anyway, I still like Stormcastle Golden Knights.
I
think that's just the name, man. I mean, everybody and their even people at Bozeman High would be wearing those shirts.
Oh, absolutely. They'd be wearing them to class every day. Yeah.
The Bozeman Stormcastle Golden Knights. Boy, let's send that over to the committee. So anybody that's listening that's got any sway over there.
That's right.
Go over there and tell them Tom wants the Golden Knights Stormcastle.
We can put a stone, at the front of the school with a sword in it.
That's right. That'd be absolutely. See, I mean, this is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. All right. Coming up at 8 o'clock, Jeff Krauss will join us. We'll talk about this silly parks thing. They want to charge you money for parks that they insisted we put in anyway. So we'll find out what Jeff thinks about that. And, when we come back, obviously, hey, there's 5 things you need to know. All right, Shane? Yeah.
That's right.
5 things you need to know. So we'll be talking about those and more local stuff as well. So hang in there and... hey, we've got an hour in the can, 2 more to go, and we'll be back with more right after the news at the bottom of the hour. 5 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock, welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. It's Thursday. It's Thursday. It's not Thursday, Shane. I wish it was Thursday. It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
I need to sit closer to the board, I guess. It's Tuesday, March 5th, 2019. 12 degrees below zero. We're going in the wrong direction, Shane.
Yeah, well,
sun's not up
winter.
yet. Sun's not up yet, but
nope.
Shane Mentalman online with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house. And Jeff Krauss will join us at 8 o'clock, and we'll be talking about anything going on with the city and what's happening there. But right now, we need to do 5 things you need to know, right, Shane? Yeah.
Oh, this is good. More Crazy Gate 2.0.
Yeah, that's true. McConnell thinks the Senate will block Trump's emergency declaration. Of course, he's going to veto that bill.
Of course he will.
Yep, he is going to
and
veto it.
They won't be able to override it with 2/3 in the House. So
no, they will not. So that is a moot point. The Democrats can prop it up in 2020 during the debates if they like, and go from there. But I don't think.
And we know the House, did that because your Senate Majority Leader wants to put the new Green Deal on the House of the Senate floor for all those Democrats to vote for it.
That's right. Let's all vote for it. And I think Nancy put out the word and to vote present.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just vote present for it, no yay, no yay. And then you can go back to your constituents with a straight face and said, hey, I didn't vote for this Green Deal, or I didn't vote against the Green Deal. So either or, depending on where you live. So, and again, this was kind of iffy. President Trump is ending preferential trade status for India and Turkey, effective in about 60 days. U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer announced Monday the generalized system of preferences allows countries to export up to $5.6 billion in goods to the U.S. duty-free. So India's program is the largest beneficiary, shrugged off the news. It's meant for least developed countries, and India has graduated out of that.
That's right, a developed country. And the important thing, too, here is, the Prime Minister of India is a Hindu. So, definitely a green person.
Well, I would think so. Well, I know they were charging 100% of a tariff on Harley Davidson. They reduced that to 50 over a period of time, but to bring 5.6 billion in here, duty free. As I've said over and over on this show, Shane, we've got 320 million of the most affluent customers on the planet. There should be a cost for accessing those customers.
Absolutely, baby.
And it shouldn't be passed on to the guys buying it.
and all these, threats that tariffs would be terrible and they'd hurt the economy, Dunkin' Donuts to that one.
Well, it hasn't panned out yet.
No,
there are certain elements of our economic strata that are being injured. I would agree with that.
Yeah, but you and I talk about this, and I think that the most powerful thing about it is that it's put the Chinese on their knees, right? That truly has.
Yeah.
So,
they're in trouble anyway, and they need us a lot more than we need them. And we just approved, I think, $7 billion in farm relief for the farmers and their soybeans and whatever. And so it's where we're kind of. I guess that's needed certainly, but I don't know. The free market ought to reign supreme, but.
Fair trade is, if it's fair trade, I agree. But in
this case, it's not. So we've got to. I've not now and never have been in favor of artificially influencing markets.
Well, as a Canadian, I'm not proud of the fact that we have over 15,000 tariffs on American products. We've talked about that, and our politicians hide behind it. Oh, and just for all those Canadian interested. Our prime minister is now being asked to resign because of that scandal in Quebec, and so that's turning into a real nightmare for him. Don't think he'll win the election he's got to call this year. I think the Liberals will go down in defeat here.
Think so? Yeah.
Yep.
Is what's his name? Cameron going to run again?
Was that? You mean Harper?
I guess Harper. Yeah.
No,
Cameron was English, wasn't he? He was a Brit. Yeah, he was a Brit. Now I get them all confused. I don't know. I'm old. Assuming.
Harper's off playing music somewhere.
Yeah, there you are. Well, I don't know. We certainly need Turkey as an ally in that area or that region, Shane. And we've got the Kurd issue there. We got Syria. I'm not sure if putting Turkey in here is the way to go, but
Well, the thing about it is that I think the pressure for that, or the reason for that from your president is because he doesn't want them leaning on the Kurds. The Kurds are they're the last group in the Middle East that didn't get a homeland like the Palestinians.
Right. Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, they're sort of southern Turkey they've sort of staked that out, but it's not officially theirs. So.
Yeah, 100 years ago they should have got a part of southern Turkey and a part of northern Syria, but didn't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the other news going on, second person's been cured of HIV.
Well, I find this hard to believe because if you read, which I do, the New England, what is it?
Journal of Medicine?
Yeah, the New England Journal of Medicine, you'll find that, this is a manageable disease now. The medications they've come up with are remarkable, although expensive. And many people with the virus are finding themselves undetectable now at this stage. So when you read the context of this article, they're basically saying the HIV viral load in these gentlemen is undetectable, which most people taking these new medications find themselves with. It's undetectable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Either way, I guess it's good news for those who have contracted it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it isn't, but I mean, look at people with diabetes. I mean,
well, yeah,
the level of medications they have to take and injections and stuff. So,
sure,
it's a manageable disease, and it's not as bad as diabetes, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, certainly diabetes is certainly a serious issue.
Yeah,
No kidding.
Yeah,
And,
it's a much bigger issue now.
Yeah, it really is. So.
I mean, that's not to take anything away from the dangers of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's still a lot of people getting infected, and not young, especially young people. Mm-hmm. You think that they'd be aware of these dangers, right? But
you'd think so. Yeah, that. I think that's probably true. I think a lot of people have been, to practice safe sex or better sex or whatever. I think that I think that's kind of been driven home, particularly in the 70s when it was rampant.
Oh yeah.
And as we got, as you mentioned, get more drugs that work, or keep the disease at bay, I should say. Then that certainly is a good thing. So anyway, let's see.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Big surprise here.
Yeah. A lawyer for Michael Cohen brought up the possibility of a pardon to President Trump's attorneys last April. People familiar with the matter told the Wall Street Journal Monday the discussion took place after FBI agents raided Cohen's home, office, and hotel room. His lawyer at the time, Stephen Ryan, was reviewing seized files with Trump's attorneys. The lawyers Jay Sekulow and Rudy Giuliani and Joanna Hendon rejected the idea of a pardon, although Giuliani said it could happen in the future. People familiar with the matter said Ryan seemed to hint that there was no hope for a pardon. Cohen would start cooperating with federal prosecutors, and congressional investigators are now looking into the conversation between Ryan and Trump's attorneys. So it just goes on and on, does it not? All right, and Ben Carson wants to, Ben Carson wants to leave HUD, Shane.
I'm not surprised by that.
I'm not either. I'm not sure he was the guy for that job. One of the things I really hoped HUD would do, and I wish Trump had stayed with it, because Carson was the ideal person to go into a place like Detroit and really, put some money in there, try to bring that city back. And
but he was the one that got Trump to put $100 billion into inner cities, for
in the opportunity zones, opportunity zones.
That was all Ben Carson.
Yeah,
the one thing I wanted,
that was good.
The one thing I wanted him to do, and we talked about this 3 years ago, was to take the lead from Margaret Thatcher and turn over a lot of the social housing to the people that have been renting them. Like let them own them. Yeah, give them some equity. Give them some. Give them something to be in the game with, to have value. I think they would have been far better to look at something like that than, but they didn't. That's one thing I was surprised by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I still think we missed a great opportunity there, or Trump did anyway, and doing a little more for black voters that he might have been able to swing particularly in Michigan and. That area.
Well, and there's a lot of reason. When he took this over 2 years ago, he was 6 months in. He made that big announcement about how he found $500 billion missing from HUD, and there's a lot of rumor, on the internet about it. That what in fact he found out is that Obama had instructed his HUD secretary not to charge people rent.
Yeah.
And so it was a loss of income the government suffered from people not paying their rent. And they didn't want to bring it up as, you're not going to start charging people rent, right?
So they were putting them down that they were paying, but they were not.
They were not, yeah. So apparently, it's one of those things that sort of slid under the radar. Yeah, not something your media would want to bring up, right?
Yeah. Well, the other thing they got on Carson about, he spent tens of thousands of dollars in office furnishings, including $31,000 on a dining set. So I don't know what kind of dining set you need in your office, but I don't know. What do you,
I don't.
Is that in case the Queen shows up?
Yeah, well, I don't think he's going to go to the Sally Ann and get one for $40.
Well,
right?
probably not. I don't know. That's even a little above Pier 1 pricing. So
Exactly.
all right. Guess what? I don't think we have to hear about. We don't have to hear about Noxatril or whatever the Babel thing is. So sit back, relax. We'll be back in 3.5 minutes. 22 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Tuesday, March 4th. March 5th. March 4th
right.
on the 5th.
March
4th on the 5th. It's 2019. At least I know the year. It's 12 degrees below zero. Holy smokes. Shane and Tom on the line with me. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. You're listening to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And from our text line, I like the sound of Stormcastle, but what is a Golden Knight? Well, Golden Knights were they were like the Thunderbirds, the aerial jet team. You know, I just thought Golden Knights would be better. They'd have, gold uniforms and stuff, so. But they could be they could be the Knights just as easily, or the Titans or the Gladiators or whatever, But I just thought Knights would go with Castle, and you don't want Copper Knights, or or Plutonium Knights. I mean, geez, gotta have golden, gotta have Golden Knights, yeah.
Yeah, they're from the Plutonium Knights. They could have green as their colors.
Well, that's true. Yeah, yeah. Well, copper might turn green too. You never know.
Yeah.
Anyway, from our text line, Trump should have shot his lawyer. We were talking about Cheney shooting his lawyer back in the first hour. So I apologize for not getting that out sooner. But at any rate, that clears up our text line. Yep, that clears up the text line. So a couple other things that were happening, Shane. Obviously, the Alabama town really hit hard. Beauregard,
oh my God,
Alabama, 23 dead. I'm surprised that hasn't gone up, in recent days. But that is been a real disaster down there. They were looking at some of the footage this morning, but man, oh man, what a nasty place that is. So
it really was, and a number 4, like that's big time.
That is pretty good. Yep, that's pretty good. So let's go to the phones. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you're on the morning soapbox. What's up?
This is Clint.
Hey.
Well, there's a fella yesterday said Rocky Mountain High, and I kind of like that.
Rocky Mountain High is not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, John Denver sings a nice song about that.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
And
not the top, not the real high we're talking about, though.
Yeah.
Well, he was. No, that's right there. I was wondering if you two guys would like to work for nothing and get harassed all the time.
Well, we worked for nothing on Saturdays for a long time.
And still got harassed. So
I know what you mean. Yeah, the president's working for nothing. He's giving his salary away, and he's beat up every time you turn around. So
now, what's that saying about our nation?
Well, it pretty well says, I think, that we've reached the point now, and I lay it all at the foot of social media, that now you've got support. If you don't like the president, man, every social media site is with you.
Yeah. Okay.
They are. And, I've never, I've often thought I should get a MAGA hat and just wear it around Bozeman and see what happens to me.
Well, I've never in time ever seen a president abused so bad as this president.
Yeah, no.
They gave a lot of the others hell. They gave Kennedy hell, and the Clintons and the Bushes. But I've never seen any president of this country treated so badly.
Well, I don't know, Clint. The Republicans were pretty tough on Obama once they got control of the House and the Senate.
Yeah, but nothing like this.
No, we didn't have violence in the on the streets where people were punching people with Obama shirts on or anything like that. Yeah, well, I'm not going to tell you it never happened,
Well,
I'm sure it probably did, but
yeah, that Wall Street protest, and Black Lives Matter protests. There was some pretty ugly stuff happening.
Well, I meant not by Republicans.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just qualifying it.
Yeah, right. And I appreciate that.
There's so many different things that's happened to the people of America. Politics, it's turned a lot of people against each other just because they're a Democrat or a Republican or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, and I've never seen anything quite like this. I mean, we used to cuss the Democrats, and the Democrats would cuss us, but nothing like it is today. And I feel.
Well, I think the other point that's got to be made, Clint, is social media has caused people to be more engaged in politics and more aware of politics and their government and what's going on. So I think it's on one side it can be looked as a bad thing, but on the other, it's a good thing that people know what's going on and what's happening.
It is, as long as they don't start fighting with each other like this.
That's true.
Well, if you believe, people post stuff all the time that if you look up the actual quote, it wasn't, it's not accurate, it wasn't given to them or whatever. But if you put it up, and it comes from you to your followers, whoever they may be, that think the same way you do, they're not going to bother to look it up whether it's true or not. They're just going to say, well, yep, that's the way he is. He's a racist, a xenophobe, a homophobe, a warmonger, you name it. And, we won't look at things like the tax cuts. We won't look at things like, the
unemployment and
unemployment,
GDP
black
growth.
Unemployment, lowest ever, Hispanic unemployment, whatever. We can't accept those things because we can't accept that this guy was legitimately elected. He's never run for office before. We cannot accept the results of this election.
Well, that's why.
That's what it is. I mean,
he's not a politician. He's a man. And what business has the Democrats or anybody got digging into his financial affairs?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Well, particularly before he was president. Now, the president and the vice president are audited every year they're in office by the IRS.
That's right.
And I'm assuming it's not a Motel 6 audit.
No, it isn't.
I'm assuming it's the real thing.
I feel about it. I'm really proud to be an American citizen.
Amen. Me too. Got to go, Clint. Hey, thanks for the call.
You betcha.
All right. Appreciate it. All right. We'll be out of here for just a couple of minutes, and we'll be right back. 24 minutes for the top of the hour, Tuesday, March 5th, 2019. Still 11 below out there, Shane. Hasn't moved much, so we're still hanging in there.
Well, you need to build a bigger bonfire, Tom.
Well, that's probably true. Well, temperatures around the area right now: Livingston's 5 below, Manhattan is 22 below, Three Forks is 25 below, Galton Gateway is 12 below, Ennis is 11 below, Gardner, if I can find them on here. Where's Gardner? Where'd Gardner go? There they are. 11 below in Gardner, and at the airport in Belgrade, it is 18 below over there. So we're the sun is up or coming up anyway. Looking out the window here, I see that, and boy, we are getting thankfully.
This is a challenge for who can be below further.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Or further below, rather.
I was going to say, I would bet in our outlying areas, there's plenty of folks out there that are way lower than these temperatures I'm giving you right now, because it was 36, 37 coming in on Monday, 26 today, 26, 27 today. Below zero coming in.
And besides, they'd be using a barn thermometer, and since you want to get rid of cows, that wouldn't be official.
Yeah, something like that. So let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Call you on the morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Oh, nothing. I just got a question for Shane. What do you think is going to happen with Trudeau? Do you think anything's going to happen with that, or do you think they'll just get swept under the rug?
No. He's in serious trouble. Another minister quit the cabinet yesterday, so the party's starting to abandon him. Usually in a situation like this, in a parliamentary form of government, when you have a majority, and he's a democratic dictator, and he has to call an election, the party does one of two things. They just sort of, walk away knowing they're going to lose the election, or they convince him he should, quit, and so they can pick another leader and sort of, delay the election until they get another leader and hopefully improve the polls. But no, this is one of those knives on the 15th of March. He doesn't want to hear about.
But I mean, legally, it sounds like he could. There's obviously something went down there that shouldn't have. Do you think any legal action will be taken, or do you think?
Well, he could very well have that kind of a problem because of what they did. For those of you that don't know, there's a major corporation, which I won't say because we're on the radio, but it probably could. But major engineering and construction firm in Quebec that was charged with fraud and bribing Quebec politicians for contracts. So the Attorney General, who's from Vancouver, an MP from Vancouver Island, and an Aboriginal, successful woman, very brilliant, she wanted to prosecute them, and he stepped in because it was in his riding, this company, and major corporation that funded the Liberal Party, said, don't go after him. And she said, no. So he fired her as the Attorney General. So similar to what you're talking about with your president. Be like Trump firing your Attorney General, which he did. And then he made her Solicitor General, which is sort of like, well, I pay attention to the legislation. So she finds out they try to hide in the legislation a proposal for to negotiate out a deal with the judge signing off so there's no long-term court case. And she takes it to the Prime Minister and said, why are you trying to sneak this legislation through? And he goes, no, you don't want to pay attention to that. He said, you know what, I want you out as a Solicitor General. I'm going to make you head of Minister of Indian Affairs because you're an Aboriginal. So she goes, no, I quit your cabinet. I can't deal with this. So no, this is interference. This is the whole ball game, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just wanted to get your perspective on that because it's. I've been reading about it, but I'm not quite sure. That kind of thing happening down here to the degree that it had with the Clinton administration, and nobody even gets a slap on the wrist. So I'm just kind of wondering.
Right. Yeah.
So,
well, I hope I explained it to you so that you have a better
I got it.
understanding.
You did. Thank you very much.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. All right. There you go. All right. We've got to take a quick break. No babble, but we do have Noxatril. So if you got kids in the car, kids near the radio, we're going to be back in 2.5 minutes. It's the last 1 minute of these three commercials. So, if you got kiddies around there that don't want to know about performance or anything like that, turn us down, and we'll be right back.
He's just about to push the button.
16 minutes before the top of the hour. You talking to the person on hold, aren't you?
Are you talking to me?
You talking to me? Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Yeah, this is Tony. I was talking to Shane.
Yeah.
And, I'm over here in Livingston. It looks like we got a little bit of snow.
Uh-oh.
But
a little bit?
Yeah, the reason I wanted to call is if we have recent people that have actually moved here in the last couple of years, just take a look at the TV and what's going on down in Alabama.
Yeah.
Because up here, if we have blizzards and 40 below, at least when it's all over, the house is still there.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah. So this won't last long, and we'll be into spring.
Well, that's what we're hoping. This tonight, the below zero temperatures stop. We're going to be we're going to be above zero for the next 10 days, and we're going to be in the 20s and in some cases the 30s on a couple days. So I think this cold overnight, leave your water on and all that.
That's great news. That's great news, and like I said, we can count our blessings because our buildings and our businesses will still be intact.
They're still there. Yeah.
Right. Okay. You guys have a good day.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Thanks for listening. Yeah, appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Our poll today, Shane. What can I tell you? Yeah. Our poll today, you need to be psychic for this poll.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Which answer do you think will get the most votes? And your choices are the top one, they'll all be the same, the bottom one, this one, or I like peanuts.
That's right. There you go.
I like peanuts is in the lead right now, 44%, and the top one is 33%. They'll all be the same as 11, and other is 11. There's no votes for the bottom one. There's no votes for this one yet. So get over to KMMSAM.com and click on our vote today in our poll today. Which answer do you think will get the most votes? And also, you can go to our text or our smartphone. Get it in a minute. Geez, problem this morning. Smartphone, and get over there and check that out. From our text line, I have worn my Trump Pence shirt downtown Bozeman during Music on Main in the summer and been shocked by the number of people who go out of their way to shake my hand for wearing it. I've hardly had a bad reaction compared to the good ones. Well, good for you. I'm glad of that. Let's see. Clint has never seen a president of the United States who is a walking insult matching of zero character. So, okay. And the president is deducting his salary and gave himself $1 billion tax cut. Not bad. Well, as long as the tax laws let you do that, why not? So that wraps that up from our text line. So thanks, everybody, for texting your thoughts over to us. All views are welcome here, of course. So, whatever you got on your mind, we want to hear about it. So let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, good morning there, Tom and Shane.
Hey, it's Peter. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. We're working on a real problem here. This, we've got conservative sites being just taken down.
True.
For nothing.
Yeah.
We've got now Chase Bank don't want to deal with conservatives anymore. PayPal, they're just shutting people off. So if you want to make money online, you're kind of in trouble there. And you got corporations that won't carry certain products.
Yep.
So these guys, let's sit down and talk. You're not going to sit down and talk with a cult. And that, to me, that's what the Democrat Party has become, a cult. And, the whole, everybody, all the money is against Trump. I'm not talking about betting. I'm talking about money, cash.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
We're going to do whatever we can do to get this guy out of office because he's ruined our little Ponzi scheme here.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know what comes next. If there's going to be no discourse, that there's going to be something worse.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk. They don't want to hear it. They hate Trump, and that's it. They hate him.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, they do. I mean, they can't understand how the most qualified woman ever and the chance to be the first woman president and the first husband-wife president team, how could this guy possibly win?
Well,
there's no way he could have won unless he cheated with the Russians or voter suppression or any number of 100 other reasons, because this guy should not be president.
Well, it just goes to show you, Tom, how much they know about the American people.
Well, that's well, they don't interact with the American people. That's the problem.
Or don't know about the American people.
Right.
Well,
and one thing they don't know is we're sick and tired of the games. And that's all these guys are. I mean, you go look at the money that's there.
Yeah.
Just members of Congress.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah. Well, look at the difference between Romney, obviously a money guy, vilified for trashing, companies, putting them out of business and liquidating them and all of that. Then you got Trump, who won't pay his contractors, but yet he identifies with the blue collar guys driving nails. How do you explain that unless it was the Russians?
Well, yeah, well, it wasn't the Russians. If you don't do the work that you were contracted to do, you don't get paid. I mean, I was in business for years.
Well,
if you don't do the job, you don't get paid. I don't care what anybody says. That's the way the world works.
Well, I agree with that.
But it's getting to the point of ridiculous now. I mean, at what point? When a bank refuses to do business with you because you're a conservative, PayPal bans you. YouTube took down over 800 million videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because give me a break.
Well, the Prager Institute, for one, or Prager University, whichever one it is, they were on the other night talking about a lot of their videos are gone, off YouTube.
Well, they're banning, and I got to say one thing about Alex Jones. He was 100% correct. He said, you think it's great, they're going to ban me, they're coming for you next. Well, here it is, buddy.
Yep.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're going to take everybody down, and they're going to keep this Trump narrative on the news till 2020. I don't even think Mueller's going to go away. I think he's going to be there till the election.
Well, he may be, but what they're talking about right now is whatever he finds is immaterial. They don't think he's going to find anything, so they're moving on to the Senate. And the Senate is taking over. Yeah.
That's their excuse to keep their narrative out there that Trump did this, Trump did that.
No, it is. No question about it.
The whole deal.
Yeah.
And one last thing, Tom.
Yeah.
There's no U and there's no E in moot.
Yeah. Okay.
What's he talking about?
And there's no I in team, but there is a me.
That's right. That would be time.
That's right. Okay. Thanks, Pete.
Stay out of the cold, man.
Amen. I'm doing that. Take care. Okay.
20 below here.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. All right, we got to take a quick break here. No Noxitril, no babble. So have fun. It is 5 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, March 5th, 2019. We're up to 9 below, Shane, outside. So sun's coming out, warming up. I feel good. I don't know about you, but...
throw another log on the fire there, Tom.
That's right. Coming up at 8 o'clock, Jeff Krauss will be in the house. We'll be talking about all the local issues going on around town and... all of that stuff, I guess. Whatever he's got on his mind, we'll check with Jeff and see what the folks are up to. And in other news, Hillary Clinton says, "I'm not running, but I'm not going anywhere." So
what a surprise!
She's like the guest that wouldn't leave.
Yeah, exactly. Uninvited guest.
The uninvited guest that wouldn't leave. Yeah, I know. Yep, she's going to continue to keep the pot smoldering, I guess, or whatever. So, and well, the other news, I don't know if there are any wrestling fans out there, but King Kong Bundy, a former World Wrestling wrestler, died at the age of 61. King Kong Bundy, if you remember him. I sort of do, but I was never a big wrestling fan. But, well,
yeah, really,
I did actually go to WrestleMania 1 in person.
Did you really?
I did. Yep. It was in San Diego. It was the first one.
And where were you sitting?
Oh, I was in the rafters pretty much. Yeah, it was. But they had big screens, so you can kind of see what was going on. But
I mean, that was a pretty big event, right? Like,
it was a huge event. Yeah, they had match after match after match after match. You know, what they showed on TV was just the big ones, but they had all these other matches that were pretty good. So anyway, let's take a quick phone call. Then we got to leave. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, I just wanted to, you had an email on. I just wanted to say that I, too, wear my, what do you call them, MAGA hats. I just say it just says make America great again, okay?
Yeah.
And I get pretty good handshakes from it.
Really?
From young, old men and women.
Yeah.
But the one thing it comes down to is it's not red and it's not blue. I got the black one. There's reasons. I don't go with the I don't deal with the Republicans and I don't deal with the demon crappers.
Okay.
Because they both suck. See, it stands for what you took an oath to, what I took an oath to, and it's about the United States of America, Tom.
There you go.
And that's all I go for is make America great again. And you know what? That doesn't mean that it was bad before or good before. It just means that we are in pursuit of happiness. We are constantly trying to make this country better. It's right there in the preamble.
Amen.
I'll let you guys go. Bye.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. All right. All right, we got to go here quickly, but the 1.5 billion Mega Millions jackpot finally claimed after 4 months. Shane, what do you do with I'm hoping this guy sat down with his attorney and with his tax guy and with his CPA and said, what am I going to do with $900 million after taxes?
I'd look at him and say, spend it.
Yeah. Well, it was a record-breaking $1.5 billion from October, finally claimed in South Carolina. And the winner, who remains anonymous, took the lump sum payout and will receive $878 million. That's the biggest lottery jackpot ever collected by one person. Previous winner in 2016 was slightly larger, but it was split among 3 people. So lottery winners in South Carolina have 180 days to claim the prize after the drawing date, meaning the deadline has come, or to come forward was next month. So there you are. But, well, pretty exciting. Yes. I don't know what I would do with $878 million. I don't think I would give a dime of it away, Shane. I would give the interest away, but once you give the money away, it's gone.
Well, that's right. And of course, I want to know if they make the Forbes 400 list.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Hey, what's the difference between inheriting it and winning it?
As a lottery,
wherever,
exactly.
So I don't know.
There you go.
Well, if we knew her name or his name, we know, but we don't. Anyway. All right, we got to duck out here, pay some bills. Fox News coming up, Montana State News, Brooke Foster weather, and, of course, Jeff Krauss will be in the house. It is Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock, so we'll have Jeff in here, and we'll everything to do with the city. So get your questions ready, and we'll be back with Jeff after the news and everything else here at the top of the hour. Also, I've got 4 tickets to Kitabaloo, a 4-pack, a family 4-pack. I'll take the 5th caller for this family 4-pack to Kitabaloo, 522-TALK, 522-8255. Back after this. 5 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock, it is Tuesday, March 5th, 2019, 7 below outside. Jeff Krauss is in the house with me, 3-time Mayor Bozeman and former, actually current city commissioner, aren't you?
Yeah, current city commissioner.
Current. Shane Matavin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, my co-host, half man, half amazing, and welcome to the morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, if I can talk.
You've had trouble this morning.
I know. I've had all kinds of problems this morning. You think it was Monday.
It's the cold.
It must be. Yeah, I don't know. My throat's frozen or something.
Yeah, something like that. I was going to...
He forgot to gargle this morning.
That was it. That's what I did. Yeah. So, well, you spent some money last night, or you made the citizens of Bozeman spend some money they didn't want to spend last night.
You know, the thing about going up to the legislature and saying, "Oh, our property taxes are too high.
Yeah,
we need another tax
on top of that."
Is that the people that have been speaking about that, and we discussed it last week, just voted another $200 a year on top of for you. Created a parks district, parks maintenance district. I was thinking about, the $15 million parks bond that passed a few years ago. So that was probably 20 when you factor in the interest, probably cost the people of Bozeman 20. And now this maintenance district, which, even if we're $1 million a year over the life of those bonds, it'd be another $20 million. So this $15 million bonds now cost you $40 million. And, the maintenance part's forever. So, another $200 a year forever. And blithely, 4-1, that got passed. I think everybody, the fix was in. They kept talking about how, well, we've planned on doing this for years and years and years. Well, I hadn't planned on doing it for years and years and years. And people say, well, why do you vote against those budgets every year? Look, I think most of them said last night, well, we can't do nothing. Right? Let's get doing nothing and separate that from making choices about maintaining infrastructure within the your budget that you currently have, which is what we could have done, but we've never done. Instead, we've hired all kinds of new bureaucrats and bought a mansion and we got the mayor talking about 1% for art now and 1% of what I haven't decided, but if it's of the total budget, that's $1 million,
Well, $200 a year is only $16 a month, so that's a pizza.
It is just a pizza.
Just a pizza.
So you can go without dinner one day for that, and go without dinner 2 days for the high school, and go without dinner couple days for the Law and Justice Center. And the other thing that was interesting, speaking of Law and Justice Centers, is the county commissioner got up and said, hey, we're going to put our Law and Justice Center on the ballot in November.
Yeah.
So before you think about putting another, they're going to put the Parks District on the ballot. So you have a chance to vote against it if you live in Bozeman.
All right.
And they're going to put it on the ballot.
Yeah.
And, the county commission deferred to us and let us put our ballot issue on the budget last year.
Yeah. Yeah, because you guys could never get together on a single building, so I guess I figured half's better than nothing.
Well, I think we did present it to the people, and it was voted down.
Yeah.
So we did get together on that, and it was voted down. Mm-hmm. So we went our separate way, and the commission said, well, we'll wait a year and put it on there when there's nothing else on there. Well, now we've come along and put something else on there. It's like this. By the way, it's an ever-escalating arms race on who's going to raise your taxes next.
Well, isn't the city commission their own worst enemy? Because it seems to me, and I remember, might remember, I helped present the one near I can't remember the street names now. But anyway, this small subdivision where we put a park in lieu of. It was a smaller than normal park, but they were going to put improvements in the park and all kinds of stuff like that. In lieu of, because there's property next to it that probably wouldn't be developed.
Right. Sure.
And haven't they shot themselves in the foot by insisting that every subdivision's got a percentage of park land equal to the subdivision? And if you look at a plat of the Bozeman, you see all these parks right together, and then over here there's nothing, and then here's another group of parks together. I don't know. It seems like they're shooting themselves in the foot. If they can't maintain the parks, why insist on having them there?
Well, we bought $15 million worth. We got Camp Swampy out there in the Northeast, and we've got the soccer fields out there. Only 4 of which will be soccer fields.
Yeah.
In the near future. Here's what I would tell you is we love spending money there on the city commission. We love spending other people's money.
That's obvious.
And the people that are crying about affordable housing just raised everybody's rent and mortgages $200 a year.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So, yeah.
Just did.
Mm-hmm.
And, and that's a pretty much a annual thing. Every year, the commission raises taxes. Mm-hmm. And here's another little thing. So the spending will come out of the general fund and move over into this parks fund, leaving 40 or 50, leaving all the money that we once spent out of the general fund on parks available to spend on new stuff that the city commission wants to spend it on.
Yeah.
And they keep talking about, your homeowners association spends X for parks, so you're getting double taxed. Well, no, I'm not. Not really, because my homeowners association, some of that work is done by volunteers. Heck, at Westfield Park, I did it for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And that work is done by volunteers, or it's done by a private sector, and it's very inexpensive. So, no, one last thing. So last night, one of the things they said was, we don't know who the contact people are for these HOAs in case you need something done on your park in your neighborhood. Well, why the heck not?
Yeah.
Because the council's decision not to know, and that way they can't tell someone, so they can use it as an excuse to raise your taxes $200.
Yeah. That would be really hard to go out and find those people.
Oh, HOAs, like, they're Luna and they're property managers for the most part. I mean, they're these big companies.
Yeah.
Right?
What's the problem?
Yeah, no problem. No, all you have to do is have the will to create a spreadsheet and a database and put them in there.
Are you going to start charging for, the garage can't be out in front of the house, and, you got to have the particular kind of fence and, all of that stuff. Is that eventually going to come down the pike too? Or
well, those are already regulations.
Yeah.
The
homeowner association usually regulates those things. I'm sure there's some by the city, but.
Oh, no. The city regulates the height of your fence. The city regulates the how far out in front of your house a garage can be. Absolutely, those things are regulated by the design standards. No snout houses, as they say.
Right, yeah. Yeah, the design police your tax dollars at work.
When you go in to have your house done, you won't get it approved if the garage is too far out in front of your front door.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Wow.
No, under no circumstances.
Under no circumstances, yeah.
So, everybody's parking out in the street. Yeah. We also require that your driveway be no more than 20 feet wide. So, everybody's parking in the street because their driveways are too small now. When I was staying over on Diamond, my truck wouldn't fit in between the garage and the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Because they had decided in that part of town to make the boulevard like 10 feet wide. If they had just had it their normal size boulevard, could have parked my truck in the driveway. That's the kind of stuff.
So you're hanging out in the sidewalk.
So. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that we blithely do with our design standards every day of the week.
Yeah.
Look, we had an attorney come up in front of us and point out that we charged a single developer $200,000 for to review his project. Well, that's usury, right? There's, let's say that a planner makes everything thrown in $50 an hour, which they don't, even benefits and everything, but $50 an hour, divide that into $200,000. That's ridiculous. One of the things we need in the city is a planning department that works on a budget. So when I was an auditor for a professional auditing company, Big 8 accounting firm, we had a budget for how long an audit was to take. So we had to keep the client happy because we were private sector, and we had to stay within budget. That's what ought to be happening in the planning department. And then we know how much each one of these projects cost and how much we ought to charge people. Instead, we're charging, I think, usurious rates for these projects.
Is that driving things out of town?
Well,
do you think?
The land is where it is, right? It is where it is.
I realize that. Right? Yeah, if you got the land in town, you're going to build there and you're going to pay whatever cost it is. But doesn't this work to the detriment of the affordable housing they want?
Well, I think about what Four Corners used to look like, what Jackrabbit Lane used to look like, what Gateway used to look like, and a bunch of those businesses used to be in Bozeman.
Yep.
A lot of those businesses used to be in Bozeman, and now they're out there, turning Jackrabbit and 191 into something that looks like Colfax Avenue in Denver. I mean, it's just a long strip. And many of those businesses were either prohibited from being in an entryway corridor by the city regulations or, chose to essentially regulate it out of town.
Yeah.
That is absolutely the case.
Yeah. We got to take a quick break, and we'll be back. We're talking with Jeff Krauss, three-time mayor of Bozeman. Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, just soaking this all in. And he'll be chatting with us probably before the hour is over. 7 degrees below zero. You said it was what coming in?
17 below.
17 below in his van, or in your pickup, rather, I should say. Yeah. All right. We'll be right back with more with Jeff Krauss right after this. 21 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. It's Tuesday, March 5th, 2019. 6 degrees below outside. Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. And another half man, half amazing guy, Jeff Krauss, is in the house.
So that was Spirit, right?
Yeah, Spirit. Yeah.
I got a line on you. Spirit is I quote them all the time. In the early 70s and in the mid 70s, we were going to run out of natural gas.
Yep.
And we were going to have we were going into an ice age.
Yep.
Those were two of the scientifically accepted common
norms of the day.
Of the day. And they have they did a song, Nature's Way, and it says it's nature's way of telling us dying trees. It's nature's way of telling us soon we'll freeze. And that was, you can go back and read the Time magazine cover story.
Yeah.
Isn't Time magazine? So Time magazine left before we froze, but the upcoming ice age, it's called.
Yep.
And so the norm of the day in the when Spirit was playing that song was upcoming ice age.
Yep. So,
natural gas is running out soon.
Yep. We're in trouble. Yep.
We are. Yeah. We were going to all starve to death. That was Paul Ehrlich, the population explosion. We were all going to starve to death, and of course, the population has boomed, and we have more food than ever before. So, one of the things about more food than ever before is we're using all kinds of science and technology and
to make that happen.
And if we were to follow the green revolution or Green New Deal, millions, if not billions,
you're
would
living
starve.
You're living on cat food.
Right, you are. You're roasting, as I say, you're huddled in the dark in a yurt, roasting bits of rat on a stick.
All right.
That is the vision.
Yeah.
Out there.
Well, that would be back to nature, I guess.
Oh, it would. Yeah, it definitely would. The dark, the green new dark ages,
there you
right?
Go.
Yeah.
Let me show you
Luddism,
Yeah, let me show you my affordable cave.
Come over and watch the cave paintings.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, open daily. Rent it out for parties and bar mitzvahs.
Oh, yeah, we could have an accessory dwelling cave.
Right.
Anyway, that was my rant for the day. Thank you very much. And thank you, Spirit, for that reminder.
Yeah, right. Well, what else are you guys? What else are you going to charge us for?
What else are we going to charge you for?
Well, we talked about 3 taxes a long time ago.
Yeah, we did. And this was one of them, right?
Yeah.
You are going to get to vote on it, though.
Well, that's the good part.
But I would say that sticking our foot in front of the Gallatin County Commission, we should be thinking about. And then we can talk about serial bonding, where every year at every election we're asking you to raise your taxes.
Oh, yeah.
And sort of the propriety of that. And shouldn't we take 10 years off or something after we get whatever happens in 2019 out of the way?
All right. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the Saturday, the morning soapbox with Jeff Krauss. What's up? I gotta quit this. I gotta quit this job. I gotta quit. I can't do this job.
Well, we don't want to lose you.
Oh man.
Hey, Jeff, you're not mocking global warming, are you? I mean, if it weren't for global warming, just imagine how cold it'd be out there today.
So, what I'm saying is that the scientific method is built on skepticism, not over the cliff, unquestioning belief.
Yeah.
So when people say believe in science, what they really should be understanding they're saying is we believe in testing every theory every chance we get. So science is built on skepticism. You put the theory of gravity or the law of gravity out there, you challenge it every time. That's people challenge it. So a healthy dose of skepticism rather than a lemmingism is the scientific method.
There's a natural balance to everything. It's been created that way, I believe. And, this is all about a carbon tax. This is, there's always going to be an agenda behind most of these so-called findings. And, it all depends on the duration of time. As I think Rush even said, do you ever notice on their predictions, they'll base them on 20 years, 50 years, when most of the people that they're making the prediction for, will have passed away. There'll be a new generation. And by that time, they'll have forgotten whether the predictions were accurate or not. It's just, I think, all agenda-driven.
Well, in 12 years, we'll all be dead.
Yeah.
I consider that within my planning horizon. So if we're all dead in 12 years, What the heck are we doing in 17 below? We should be on a beach naked somewhere. Come on.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Actually,
11 years, 11 months, I'm getting out of town.
So I would say that's one that we can hold people to. I remember reading where we were going to run out of natural gas, where there was this Malthusian curve where there would be no food, and we were going to enter a new ice age by the year 2000. So those things haven't happened. I've been around that long. We got 12 years. We'll all be dead. In 12 years, we'll all be dead. So no point in having children. And I think that, these are the things I believe I read years ago where the coastal cities would be underwater by now, and they are not. So, I'm not there have always been these apocalyptic visions, right? The world is going to end. And it's funny, boomers are starting to get old now, and apocalyptic visions are typically embraced by people who are older. They realize that they're soon going to die, and they sort of, say, well, the world's going to end. And it is for me at 65 at some point in the future, but I think the rest of you will carry on.
Probably. I hope so.
Yeah, I think so. So 12 years, let's mark it down. Let's test it.
Be careful about mentioning 65. I'm 65 next year, okay?
All right,
be nice.
Just a young guy.
Be a little more political correct here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, 65 is old, Shane. It's not the new 55 or 45.
That's right.
It's the same old 65.
Yeah. Will I still need him? Will I still feed him? That's the question.
64. Yeah.
Hey,
well, yeah.
Hold on. I want to send you a picture.
Right. Caller, thanks for the call.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. From our text line, got a couple texts coming in here, guys. We were talking about, can you wear a MAGA hat or a Trump
MAGA
stuff
hat
downtown?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, MAGA. My attorney got arrested. It says, and it's called freedom to think for yourself, freedom of choice, and the right to vote in America. So there you are.
Yep, dare to think for yourself.
Yeah, that's scary.
And don't send me a meme or I'll mock you for it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Can't handle it. All right. We got to duck out here, pay a couple bills. Fox News, or Montana State News, the bottom of the hour, Brooke Foster weather. A lot more coming with Jeff Krauss, who is in the House, current city commissioner. And Shay Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, half man, half amazing. And Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. We got two mayors in the House, so that's good. And, well, I guess Shane's an assistant mayor. What do you think, deputy mayor? Deputy mayor, yeah, all right. All right, we'll be back with the deputy mayor after this. 24 minutes for the top of the hour, Tuesday, March 5th, 2019, 3 degrees below zero. We're coming up, Shane. It's getting better.
Yes, we're getting towards spring.
Yeah.
1 degree at a time.
Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, half man, half amazing. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the House, and Jeff Krauss, three-time mayor of Bozeman and current city commissioner, joins us on the KMMS morning soapbox. Welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Always nice to have you in here. Keep us up to speed on what the city's up to.
Well, we raised your taxes $200. Well, you'll get a chance to vote on that.
That's true. Yeah.
We just all four of us heartily endorse that because something has to be done, and that something couldn't have been done over the last 20 years of budgets. Oh, yes, it could have. And it still could be done within the ever-burgeoning tax base that we have in the general fund. But, of course, we're going to raise your taxes $200 because you're so overburdened with taxes that we need to go to the legislature and ask for more taxes.
Yeah. And what does that amount to in a lump sum?
Well, there is no lump sum because it's an ongoing tax. This one lasts forever.
Okay. Well, I meant you're figuring it costs $200 per citizen or per homeowner
per typical 7,500 square foot lot. So if you have a bigger lot, you get more. If you're a business, and now it's capped at 15,000 square feet in some areas. I'm not sure if it's capped in all areas, but it is in some. So, Yeah, you know.
So I mean, if you collected it in 1 year, how much would it amount to?
I don't know. I didn't bring my paperwork in with me today, so I can't tell you. But you know, it
obviously it must be substantial.
Oh, definitely, yeah. 200. Think about $200. That's more than
well, that's what I said. It's
bond issue for the high school is going to cost you.
Yeah, it's $16 a month, which is about a pizza price, a large, you know, with all the toppings.
Yeah, not a Starbucks, not a Starbucks. More like a, you know, more like a pizza a month. Yeah.
So
and just think about that.
One less pizza for this, one less pizza for the high school. Or
yeah. Well, this idea that we're minimizing $200, I think, is there's just no way to minimize that. You know, and when theoretically affordable housing is the number one issue in this city, adding $200 a year to rents. And mortgages is going in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
it just is. And you know, is there any tax increase we said no to? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's what all of us sitting out here we find it hard to understand that we live within our means. We budget for our household. But the city doesn't seem to do that. The city seems to think that, you know, if I should be able to walk out on my front porch and some guy walking by with his dog say, "Hey, I need about 50. You know, you want to come over here and give me about $50 because I'm a little short this month."
Yeah, I haven't said this in a long time, but I worked in the county treasurer's office for 10 years, and people came to me, you know, widows that would come to me, and they'd obviously saved their money in their, you know, wadded up bills and a little sack of bills, or they'd have me write the check for them because they could no longer write the check, and they would say, "Well, you know, I any more than this, and I won't be able to eat," and you know, people losing their homes for back taxes. Grown men crying because they were losing their homes for back taxes. I saw all kinds of things like that, and you know, it does affect me. Some people say taxation is theft. I think taxation is violence, and you know, because if you don't pay it, the sheriff comes by, and takes your house or takes over your bank account. There's all kinds of things. And, you know, to collect those taxes. And so taxation at the end is violence, and it should be used only when necessary. And so, you know, to say, for example, one of the excuses was, well, in some places, homeowners associations take care of their property really well, and in other places they don't take care of it at all. And that's just unfair, so we're going to charge everybody $200 a year.
Yeah. So
it makes no sense to me, right? We make choices. We could also go and take care of the park that the homeowners association agreed to do and didn't, and then charge every one of those people for the cost of doing that. But we haven't done that because we've wanted this. For the last decade, we've wanted to raise your taxes in a parks maintenance district.
You want an easy way to do it.
And, they talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
They have never, they talked about how much it costs to do this and how much it costs to do that and how much it costs to do the other thing. But they have never once put a value on the value of volunteers, contributions, donations to the park system. None of those things have ever been valued in our database. But yet they're saying, well, it's going to cost a lot less to pay people, you know, to hire people and pay people what volunteers did. That's going to cost a lot less. I don't buy it.
Yeah. Let's take a quick phone call, then we got to take a break. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Good morning, Tom and Jeff. This is Jack. I think for us older homeowners that have been here for a while, and I've brought this subject up before, I think it's long overdue to consider at least a Proposition 13 type proposal to protect the people that are here in Bozeman.
Yeah, see, interestingly enough, the thing that passed last night that's going to go on the ballot in November isn't about property tax value and would be unaffected by Prop 13. But yes, I've always thought that you buy your house, that's the deal. I can afford taxes on this value of a house. And if you're a young family, you're impacting the tax base because you're driving to work every day. Your spouse is driving to work every day. Your kids are riding in the buses. They're in the school system. You're very active in governmental. But by the time you get to be a retired couple or a retired person, you're
still paying for all those things.
You're paying. Well, you are, and that's fair that you're paying for all those things. But your impact to the taxes is far less. Yeah. And so I've often thought that by using the price you paid for your house, you're sort of that's your deal with government, right? And I like that idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also it preserves the neighborhood. It would mean that the folks that bought that home and paid for those taxes over the years would be able to stay in that home and stay in that neighborhood and make it a worthwhile place to live.
And maintain the home in better condition than,
Well, it would be vigorously resisted.
Yeah, it would be.
I'm sure.
Of course.
By particularly, I think, by realtors. It always has been by the
because you wouldn't turn homes as quickly.
Right. There would be a natural resistance to flipping your home over and over and over again because moving up because there you'd be, you would trade the brand new tax value for that. And so there would be, as you say, people would stay in their homes longer.
All right, got to take a break, guys. Thanks for the call. Yeah, appreciate it. All right, we'll be right back. 12 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, March 5th, 2019, and one below. Shane outside. Shane Madobin joins me from Vancouver, British Columbia. And you have sort of a Prop 13 kind of thing in Canada, don't you? Sort of?
Not really, but I just going to say, speaking to the caller previously, problem I have with is hidden taxes, and I just think from a perspective here because it is different. Property taxes, the premise of it has been for 100 years to pay for education, and I don't think it's fair to tax people that have gone through that process, paid those taxes for their children, and then continue having to pay them when they don't have children in school. I just think it's an unfair hidden tax to people that are retired. I don't think you should charge people for property tax, when they've already gone through that process and supported taxes for all their life. And they should get a break. They shouldn't have to continue paying those taxes once they've retired and their kids are gone and left the home.
All right.
Well, I have to be careful about giving tax breaks to the wealthiest percentile of Americans, right? Old people are by far and away the wealthiest group of Americans. Mm-hmm. I'm not in a hurry to give Warren Buffett a tax break.
Yeah.
Let's make sure.
But the old lady that comes in and signs your check.
And so, to means test, to low income, and we do, there is an elderly homeowner and renter credit in Montana. You get it through your tax. Mm-hmm. So even if you don't have to file an income tax with the state, you should to get the elderly homeowner credit. Mm-hmm. It's means tested. I believe you can't make more than $45,000. And I asked MDOR when that was changed, and they sent me, here's the law. And so you have to go through and figure out when the law was last changed. I don't think it's been indexed for inflation, or it would not be a round number. But there is in Montana, it's up to $1,000. Again, means tested. Another thing I would say is in the city of Bozeman, we may still be the only city that does this. Anna Rosenberry and I figured it out, is that if you are low income homeowner, you can go to you file to get the tax break for being a low income homeowner with Montana Department of Revenue. Not the homeowner credit, but this is another program where they actually reduce your rate. Mm-hmm. You can also get a break on your utilities in the city of Bozeman if you qualify for that lower tax rate from the Montana Department of Revenue. So it's worth going into the Montana Department of Revenue. If you're on a very low fixed income or Social Security, going in there, having a friend take you in there and apply for those reduced taxes. Very much worthwhile to do that, and I encourage everybody to do that. I used to take out a big ad in the paper when I was county treasurer every year, advertising that. And we don't do that now, but we should.
All right, from our text line, then we got to take a break. The 4 liberal Democrats on the city commission who voted themselves a raise are running the senior citizens who built the town to the poorhouse, and we are having to sell our house. 5 generations have lived here. So,
yeah, well, we're always hearing, they did this big spreadsheet about all the things they want to do, and they put an excuse column in. It wasn't my dog ate my homework. It was growth. And so all of these things that were growth related.
Yep.
Right. And there was yes, an excuse column.
Gotta go. Okay. Rush update is coming up, and other things, and of course Noxatril. What would the morning be without Noxatril? So it's the last commercial of this group after charter. So if you have kids around and want to turn the radio down, you are more than welcome to do that. But here's Rush. 4 minutes before the top of the hour, Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor, in the house, and Jeff Krauss. I got too many guests. This is a whole bad morning for me, Jeff.
You have stumbled.
Just stumbled all over the place.
But, for all the money they're paying us, we should talk. We should have much better allocution, don't you think?
You would think so, yeah. I know.
But if you want to listen, I'm going to say once in a while,
right?
That's for sure.
Yeah. One of our texters said, "Well, I think they could talk to both of us. We both say way too much."
It's because my brain is moving faster than my lips.
Well, that's my problem as well. Let's see a couple things here. From our text line, if global warming is such a crisis, why aren't movie stars selling their beachfront property? So, good idea. Yeah, why not?
I'd probably buy some for a reasonable price.
Yeah. So,
I mean, if it's going to be underwater, and if we're all going to be dead in 12 years, your house really isn't worth much.
Yeah.
Right? But go ahead and borrow money because we're all going to be dead in 12 years.
That's right. From our text line, pizza, haven't been able to afford one for years due to property taxes. A low-income senior in a house from the 30s. So there you are.
Yeah. That's a person that is ripe for going in and talking to the Montana Department of Revenue, over there behind Goodwill it is, and seeing if they can't get a break on their tax rate.
Yeah.
And then they would get a break on their utility bill from the city of Bozeman.
Okay. All right. Well, let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the morning soapbox. What's up?
Yes, sir. Just wanted to give it a reminder of how the liberals are treating conservatives by dumping red paint on their trucks on those who choose to fly the Confederate flag around here. And somebody's lucky they didn't get caught. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I had not heard that.
Yeah.
Thank you, liberals.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the call. I think that the same caller was talking about the snow removal on 19th, too, that the driveways and things along there, they should clear the snow into the center of the street rather than along the sides or whatever, or parking along there on South 19th, I think. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a state route, so
that's a state issue, not a city issue.
Yeah, it's like in Bozeman, on Main Street, 191.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. Well, I know they're having a hard time putting it somewhere because there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
And when I come to work every morning about 5 o'clock or a little before 5, they're always out here grading Main Street, and they're trying to pick it up and get it out of here. So.
Yep, that's the state of Montana doing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Jeff. Thanks for coming in. Thanks
it's a pleasure.
Thanks for slapping $200 on us. We appreciate that.
Well, we're coming for you, Tom.
I know you are. Say goodbye, Shane.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Jeff. Everybody be happy, be safe. God bless.
All right. Well, Shane, I'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m., and Mike McCormick will be our guest at 8 o'clock. Jeff, as always, thanks for the info. Always nice to have you. And
thanks for people listening and calling.
Yeah. And from our text line, they already got the deductions from the Montana revenue. They're still in trouble.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
All right. All right. That's sad to hear, but unfortunately, we're out of time, and we'll see everybody 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.